Hi, Mario. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And some people will be late. That's okay. You get what you can get. I've been teaching this stuff for about 20 years. I do it through classes, both online and offline, in person. I do it through individual coaching with clients all over the world. So let's pretend that you're in my classroom. This is the PowerPoint or a version of it that I show to people in my classes to orient them visually as to what we're going to be doing. So let's get to it. Okay. Okay. This is my third book. It's available on Amazon. It's only $15 for the paperback and only 10 for the ebook version. How to find work for the rest of your life, and I'm proud of it. It's doing very well. The reviews have been excellent. It got an award. It's the culmination of my 20 years of work helping people. We're getting a taste, like a cake tasting of what I do and what I offer. If you're interested in more, this is one way to access my work. Okay, another way, I have three courses on LinkedIn Learning, have for a number of years. Basically, how to find, keep, and leave a job. The first one is actually the title is creating a career plan. And then finding it that's finding a job. Then keeping a job is succeeding in a new job. And the third one is when you leave a job, how to transition out and maintain the relationships and friendships that you've built wherever you've been working. Okay, so this course, we're going to pretend we're in a classroom. It's not just about providing you with more information, it's about context, okay? It's a different way to think about and then act on the new changing marketplace, the gig economy. I call it a shift in consciousness without the use of drugs. Okay, it's not just for now. Uh, all the work I do, it's universal. It's something you can use for the rest of your life as long as you want to work. My line is, once you're dead, you're off the hook. But these are principles and practices you can use whether you're shifting jobs now, going back into the workforce, you just got out of school, high school, college, whatever, or you decide to re-career toward the end of your life, or you're starting a new business. Any of those, this covers. It's the same principles for all of it. Unfortunately, employers want everything. Um, they don't get it, but that's what they ask for. Um, so just expect that they never seem to lower their expectations um, as to what they think they can get. And if they're smart, they can get most of it and train you on the rest. Okay, what's the gig economy? Because if you I'm on LinkedIn. It's my favorite platform for social media. I've got over 36,000 followers. And you can see from my headline on LinkedIn, which is very similar to my soundbite, which is I train people to brand and market themselves for the gig economy. When I meet people in person and say that, often, not so often lately, but often people go, gig economy, you need to back up and explain what that is. So, for those of you who don't know what it is, it started really in the jazz world of the 30s and 40s, where jazz musicians didn't have a 9 to 5 job where they clocked into Jazz Incorporated and clocked out at 5 o'clock every night. They'd have short-term projects. They'd have a couple of days in a recording studio, a short tour. They play at a club for a week or two, and they expected that it would, whatever the gig was, whatever the project was, it would end, and they'd have to look for something else. So for people in the entertainment business, they understand this intuitively. They're the easiest people for me to work with because they've been doing this their whole lives. That's the way the entertainment business works, whether it's music, television, movies, whatever. You don't expect a long-term job. And after a while, you don't want it. You like the freedom, which also means you got to hustle for work all the time. So that's what the gig economy is. It's now moved over to every other industry. And part of the reason I'll always have work is that people are in shock. They've never been trained to do this. We've been trained to get a good education, have a good resume, know how to dress for an interview, know how to answer the questions, get a job, work for a company for many, many years, and then retire with a gold watch and a pension. And it doesn't work like that anymore. I also have a TEDx talk, I forgot to mention that, which you can look at, which explains my whole background. So that's what the gig economy is. Please, if you have questions, put them in the chat. I'll answer them when I'm done with the presentation. Happy to do that. Okay, we're still, unfortunately, coaches, high schools, colleges, they're still leaning on let's fix your resume, let's teach you how to do a cover letter, and here's a list of alumni you can contact. And that's very 20th century. It's very old school. It's not enough anymore. And they're preparing you for full-time jobs. And then you get a full-time job, and 2 years later, the company gets sold, and you're out of work. Thank you for your loyal service. Don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. And this is true whether you've just started there and I've had many people I've worked with who've worked for companies for 30 and 40 years, and something happened to the company having nothing to do with their performance. Suddenly they're out of work. I had one student in my classes. He was 60 years old. He'd been in the printing business for 30 years, the last 10 as a supervisor. And he came to me and said, I've never even written a resume. I have no idea what to do. So we're doing people a disservice because we're still back in the past as to how to help them. This worked for the traditional workplace, but things have changed so much. It's been such a revolutionary change into the gig economy that we're not prepared, and we're not preparing students and workers for this, for the new reality. Although, let me move on to the next slide. Okay, so that's you folks. Okay. We are trained to be loyal, hardworking employees, and we expect that we will be treated the same by the company. One of the things, well, it's in a future slide, um, but it don't work like that anymore, unfortunately. So the truth shall set you free. First, it's going to piss you off. This is the first part of that, where you have to face this reality. That's my job, and then I will show you new ways to think about this, new ways to behave that will create some real openings for you to tackle work in the 21st century. No more corporate loyalty. Um, no long-term job stability. Sorry. Yeah, they moved the goalpost, but nobody told you. So that's my job, to help you through this and guide you through this, whether you're a student, private client, whatever. How I do this in a classroom is I have different students read the slides and then we talk about them. We don't have that luxury here on Zoom. Um, but they don't care about you. They say they do, and I tell my clients and students, if they tell you you're a member of the family, run away. It's just not true. Um, they're looking to save money, and they're looking to put money in their own pockets. And the most expensive thing in a company is labor. So if they can get a robot to do your job or AI to do your job, thanks very much, you're out. But, no buts. Thanks very much. Okay. Have a good life. Good luck to you in your next job. Um, so that's the way it is, like it or not. But you have to understand, you can't know where you're going until you know where you're at. This is where we're at. This slide says it all. I could just put up this slide and forget about all the rest of the slides, and it would almost do the entire job. My boss arrived at work in a brand new Lamborghini. I said, "Wow, that's an amazing car." He said, "If you work hard, put all your hours in, and strive for excellence, I'll get another one next year." And unfortunately, we're in a situation in this country where the rich are getting richer, and it's grinding down people who just want to make a living and do good work and take care of their families. Um, that, unfortunately, is the new reality. When I show this in the classroom, howls of laughter. Everybody gets it. That's just how it is now. So, bosses are not bad people. Some of you are bosses, I'm sure, and some of you will be bosses in the future. So have a little compassion for them because you're always trying to cut costs. So if I work for you, you you can't afford the health insurance. You're going to cut my hours so I can't get it. Okay. They'll turn me into a contract worker because when things are slow, you don't want to have to pay me to sit around. Yes. I'm at a certain point. I reached a certain point in my life a few years ago where I got too old and too expensive. So they'd sooner not hire me and hire, a couple 20-year-olds for half the price who have no life and will work, 16-hour days. Just give them more Red Bull. And again, they will try to find a robot. Ultimately, robots don't ask for time off or vacations and don't complain. Yes, the robot doesn't work anymore, throw it out, get a better one. Yeah. So even if you do have a full-time job, you can't afford to relax and say, well, I'm done. No. Okay. Because the workplace is so fluid now. So you're basically what I'm setting you up to do in training you or training my clients and students is to market yourself. Um, so you're going to have two jobs. One is whatever you do, and the other one is marketing yourself because you can't live in expectation that this is going to last forever, whatever the job is. You'll get bored, the company will get sold, market conditions will change, the industry, who knows what. Has nothing to do with you, nothing to be ashamed of. This is the new normal. Some more maxims. You're a freelancer. So you want to think of yourself, it's useful if you think of yourself as your own business and your own brand, just like any business, whether that's formalized or not. And everyone I know eventually gets to this point. They're tired of the commute, they're tired of the politics. They'll just wing it on their own. It's a more stable if you keep working it. It's a more stable future than relying on one boss who looks at you cross-eyed one day and suddenly you're out of work. That's the definition of a freelancer. So while you're there, you're doing everything you can, working as hard as you can, but you always have your eye on the exit door because either you or they are going to say, we're done. And as you start to develop clients, because you have your own business rather than employers, it's a 6-month deal, it's a 6-week deal, it's a six-day deal. Yes, and you know when it's going to end. Meanwhile, you're always hustling to find other work. That's the way it's going. Don't take my word for it. So I had a friend. I'm not a big fan of distance learning. I have certificates that allow me to do that I've earned. Um, it's not the same as in person, but that's the way we're going. And I resisted it at first and had a good friend who said, hey, either get on the train or get run over. So whether you like it or not, you need to go with the flow. There's a favorite line of mine from Avatar 2, The Way of Water. If you can't get out of it, get into it. So you don't have to like this, but it is the future. And I want to prepare you. This is a taste of that, like a cake tasting. You can certainly access me through LinkedIn and all the things I have there. But this is the way to go. So you need to get with the program. Get on board. Buckminster Fuller, somewhat forgotten today, um, but it's a great quote of his. So here's the new model. It's called the multiple income streams approach. My students call it the wheel. Okay, so you picture a wagon wheel, which is in the background here on the slide. I hope you can see that. Okay, the hub is your core brand or skill set. So if you were a client of mine, I would work with you on what's the brand? What exactly do you offer and to whom that people will pay for? Yes, what skill set do you have people will pay for? And the spokes are the various ways you can derive income from that core brand. So I can use myself as an example, but so many people I know use the same model, whether it's something they got from me or they just kind of evolved into it. Yes. So I have teaching I do, I have private clients, I have royalties from my 3 books, I have royalties from LinkedIn Learning, um, speaking engagements, et cetera, et cetera. So there's always money coming in. Yes. So if I lose a gig, I lose a teaching gig, I lose a client, I've always got money coming in. I'm never unemployed. By the way, don't say you're unemployed, say you're available. Much better. Okay. So it's just like any business. You don't have a single client, which is the old model for workers. Yes, one boss, one company. Yeah, be nice, kiss up, and give them extra time and come in on the weekends because you got to keep the job. Without the job, you are in fact unemployed. This is a much more freeing situation, but what's called for here is you got to hustle for work all the time. That's your second job, always marketing yourself. Okay, so we all know employers like passion, yes? But some words about passion and some of the concepts here that I use are somewhat radical, let's say, if you haven't heard them before, but I promise you they work. I've proven this over and over again, how successful this has been. Yes. I coined a term called monetizable passion. So just because you love it, don't mean you can make a living at it. And you have to understand the distinction. So I have so many college students I work with, I'm just waiting for the perfect job. Well, you may get it, but then it's going to end in 3 years, 5 years, whatever, for various reasons, market conditions, whatever. So, for example, my wife and I, we dance salsa. We've been practicing salsa dancing for a couple of years. We have a wonderful private teacher, and no one will ever pay to watch me salsa dance. So I understand that's a hobby. Yes. So you want to understand that about many of the things you enjoy doing. And if you're literally starting your own business, as some of you are, some of you are entrepreneurs, um, just because you love it, if the market isn't there, ain't gonna happen. I've always wanted to skydive, yes, but you can't make a living at it. But what you can look at is your career can be a means to fund that. So you take 2 or 3 weeks off every year and go skydiving somewhere else in the world every year. And you can express your passion that way and not expect money. So if you work in the music business and you always, wanted to be a musician and play for people, but you ain't that good, um, so you're making a living in the music business in some capacity, and you play gigs at night. And if you make a little money, that's great. And if you don't, that's great too. You got to express yourself. You got to express your talents in that area. I always joke that I'm a trained musician and I could have been Paul McCartney. I only lack 2 things: talent and drive. So, if you understand that distinction, it's very helpful. You may do work that you like with people you enjoy. It's not your ultimate passion, but it pays the bills and allows you to express your ultimate passions and not worry about whether you're making money at them or not. Okay, so I've taught in my career over 60 different courses, mainly focused on business communication and career guidance. Um, but one of the courses I've taught is critical thinking. Basically, that can be reduced to the idea of how do you get from here to there? Yes. How do you harness resources to accomplish what you want to do? But I call it critical thinking in action, because just understanding why, what you want to do or where you want to go, that's not enough. It's like someone who goes to therapy for 10 years and discovers my mother was really neurotic and that's why I am the way I am. That's nice. What are you going to do with it? What actions are you going to take? So the first part is awareness. So what's your specific goal? Specific, and I work with clients on this. What specifically do you want to do? I work with a lot of people in healthcare, and they say their goal is to help people. That's not enough, I tell them. Um, People who are maitre d's at restaurants, they help people too. They say, "May I help you to your table?" That's not what you mean, is it? No, it's not. Okay, so let's get specific. You want to be a nurse, you want to be a social worker. What specifically do you want to do? And can you monetize it? So that's the awareness part. Um, the most important part is the second step, which is what are the steps you need to take? So to reach it, to implement it, to execute it. Nothing matters in life except action. Yeah. And how you feel about it, or that you've mulled it over, or you recognize what you want to do, that's nice, not enough. So this is critical. And I put both my students and clients, private clients, into this space so that they have to produce results. What did you do? Who did you talk to? What research did you do to move you toward the goal that you said you wanted? It's not my goal, it's your goal. And you figured out, or we figured out together, that yes, I can monetize, that it is a growing industry. And these are the things I need to do to get there. More education, more networking, more whatever. Three of my favorite quotes. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Being willing is not enough. We must do. Chekhov's quote is really my mantra for teaching. Knowledge is of no value unless you put it into practice. I have 3 degrees. I have a bachelor's in sociology from the City College of New York, a master's in broadcast communication arts, radio and television from San Francisco State, and an EDD in organizational leadership from Pepperdine University. And I'm not supposed to say this, but a lot of that time, or most of that time, was wasted. Yes. So just knowing stuff and having facts at hand is not going to make a difference in the world. It's not going to make a difference to you. So you need to put your knowledge into practice. And that's what I do. That's why I've been so successful as a professor, because I refuse to waste my students' time. Um, it all has to be actionable. Everything they do, we do together. And then Stephen Sondheim, having a vision's no solution. Everything depends on execution. Okay. So again, you're students of mine, yes? In this course, this is what we're going to be doing in the next few days or weeks. We're going to define, articulate, communicate, and sell your brand. That's what we're up to here. That's the context for our work. Okay. So let's talk about branding. What specific monetizable, marketable, and transferable skills do you offer? So I'm teaching you how to market. Yes. So specific. This does not mean I'm a good team player and I work hard and I learn fast. No, specific. I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish and English. I know the following computer programs. I've had the following measurable successes in my past jobs. Because what we're looking at is what you can do for the employer. How can they monetize your skill set? Yeah. And the second part of that, what makes you different and special? Because I know we're all unique, but we do, and we are, but we do similar things to other people. There's lots of nurses out there. Yes. There's lots of college professors. What is it makes me special and different? And that's what we work on. So what makes you special and different in building your brand? That's what people are interested in. Okay. What are you selling? Who do you know? How can you help them? It's another way to look at it. More bad news. Oh, this guy's full of fun, isn't he? You're in sales, and you will be for as long as you work, like it or not. And that's the face I get. I've seen that face in classrooms. I don't like it. Okay? Don't have to like it. So that's a caveat I throw out there, and people, what? No, you don't have to like it. It's just something you need to do. It's like a winter coat in Chicago. They're bulky and they're heavy, but you're going to freeze without them. Or if you live in Los Angeles, where I am, good idea to know how to drive and have a car. I grew up in Manhattan. We didn't have a car in my family. We didn't need one. We had public transportation. When I came to LA, got to learn to drive. Um, so it's like brushing your teeth. If I said to you, guess what, tonight I'm going to go home, brush my teeth. Isn't that fun? It's like, what's wrong with this guy? That's not fun. It's a habit. Aha, this is the new habit, learning to market yourself. You learned how to use these. Yes, this was brand new when it came out in 2007. They've only been around since 2007, smartphones. Um, we learned to use them. You could learn to self-market. You don't have to like it. You just have to do it. So the SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Um, that's been traditionally used by businesses when they're moving forward to assess what they've got and what they need. Now, I changed the W from weaknesses to what's missing. And so I use this with my clients and my students, and it's very useful. One reason it's really useful is you get down on paper what you have and what you need, and there's no drama around it. So you list your strengths, and people are um, a little shy about this. They're not used to marketing themselves, so we always have to mine for more strengths because they don't realize at first what they offer. And as we do it, they go, "Oh yeah, I could do that. Oh, people would pay for that." Yes. So you have a long list of strengths. And then what's missing? For example, your goal is going back to the goal and steps slide. Your goal is to be a nurse. So what's missing? Well, I need to finish my bachelor's degree. Then I need to go to nursing school. Then I need to pass an exam. I need to network with other nurses to find out where I would fit as a nurse and what areas they're hiring in that I would be appropriate for. So basically what you're doing is writing it all down, no drama. This is what needs to be done. And you take what's missing and put it into the strengths. For example, use myself as an example. I'm just like anybody else. I've just been doing it longer, but it's the same process for me too. I was teaching with a master's degree at the college level. I wanted to teach at the university level, but they wouldn't talk to me without a doctorate. So I got a doctorate. So I went and so the doctorate was in what's missing. It went to strengths, and then I started teaching at universities. So that's you. That's the top. The bottom, the market forces, opportunities, and threats. You have to understand what's going on in the marketplace. Is it a growing industry? Is the type of job you want still something people are asking for? You know, I want to be an elevator operator. I want to be a miner. I want to be a secretary. Those things don't exist. Or miners, it's shrinking. That still exists, but the others have disappeared. Yes. So before you go into a new field and spend time and money and effort in learning something new, getting a degree or certificate or a license, is there a light at the end of the tunnel? So you want to start looking at opportunities and threats. One of the best places to go is called BLS.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics.gov. It's part of the Department of Labor. And they constantly publish data on which industries are growing, which are shrinking, what the opportunities are for work in different parts of the country, what's required in terms of training to get there, and what you can expect to be paid. So you get to see beforehand whether it makes sense to go into that field. So that's the SWOT analysis, and I find it really useful, as do my clients, to work from here. because there it is on paper. And what I found for everyone, if you want it badly enough, you'll do whatever it takes. Okay, so now we go to the communicating your brand part of the presentation. Three ways: verbal, written, and you'll notice the largest is social media. Okay, so we work on the sound bite. Yes, what's your name? What do you do? What or have done? And what do you want? And what are you looking for? And then in the classroom, one of the biggest things that we do in terms of exercises is mock interviews. So people get comfortable talking about themselves and answering questions. And based on the SWOT analysis, they have a good sense now of what they offer and what people will pay for. Hard skills, yes. Um, so there, when you're in an interview for a job or a client, um, it's it's equals. Yes, it's colleagues talking. It's not, oh, please give me a job. It's, I know what I offer. Here's how I fit in your company. If you answer my questions appropriately, and this is the kind of environment I want to work in, I'll accept if we can make a deal. Um, if not, if this is not a place I want to work, I'll go somewhere else because I will find the right environment for my skill set. Another course I taught at the bottom there refers to speech. I teach people how to speak in public, not like the Reverend Martin Luther King or Barack Obama, not for large crowds, because most people will never have to do that, but speaking to small groups, speaking in an interview to an individual, a panel, doing a presentation at a company to people around a conference table. Yes. So in speech, there's the steak and the sizzle, which you could also look at as hard skills and soft skills. The steak is, do you have the goods? Do you have the qualities I need, the skill set I need that I would pay for? Yes. The sizzle is, do I like you? Okay. Are you someone personable who answers questions, who hears what I'm saying, who's concise, who's professional? Because I have to live with you. If you're working in an office, which some of us still do, you spend more time with your coworkers than you do with your family, which is weird. Um, but I have to like you. You have to be somebody that I can get along with who's personable. So the mock interviews help people get there. So this is the soundbite, also called the elevator pitch. What's your name? What do you do or have done? And what do you want? And we rehearse that over and over again. It's your most important marketing tool because it's the one you use the most. That opens up a conversation. Like I would say something about myself, and it would be focused on the audience that would pay for my skill set. And oh, you do that? Could we have coffee? I was just going to have coffee. Join me for coffee. I want to learn more. Okay. Back to the 20th century, there's the colleges are still, it's resumes, cover letters. Yes. Um, and your education, you have to have the degree in some cases. Don't, one caveat is don't overeducate yourself. If you don't need it, if it's not going to pay, just hold off on it. Um, so resumes, cover letters, education, they're still necessary, but it's insufficient now in the 21st century. Okay, this is my take on resumes. And again, somewhat radical. It's not everything you've done because you need to be focused on your target audience. I say this over and over again, and it's in a future slide here. It's a marketing document. If I'm going to hire you, all I care about is what you can do for me. It's selfish. Okay. I don't care that you want to work in a creative environment with a great team and learn a lot and have fun. I'm not running a camp. Yes, I'm running a business. Yes. So I want to know what you've done, I can monetize. Everything else is irrelevant. Yes. If you look at my LinkedIn profile, there's nothing there about salsa dancing because people are going there to find this career guy. I want to know what he's done in terms of careers. So it's a different way to think about it. It's not lying. Yes, it's I don't care. It's not appropriate. So, I mean, if you want to tell someone everything you've ever done, go to church and go into confession and talk to the priest. But an employer or a potential client is not interested in that. So you want to make it look as good as you can. No lying. That's unethical. Yes, no lying in an interview either, unethical. Yes, but make it look as good as you can because all they care about is what you can do for them. Now, I'm not supposed to say this given I have a doctorate, okay? Um, but I wasted a lot of time on busy work, as I'm sure we all did, on teaching to the test and memorizing useless factoids that you'd spit out on a test and you'd forget the answers on the way out of the test room. Yeah. Education needs to be looked at as a tool you want to monetize. Yeah. So, three reasons to get more education. Number one, contacts. Yes. Number two, credibility. If you want to be a nurse, you have to have an RN, period. Yes. I want to teach university level, have to have a doctorate, period. No discussion on that. Third part of it is you might learn something that maybe is flipped from what you usually hear. But I know how much time I wasted at school, and I'm sure you did as well. We need a major overhaul in the educational system. That's not what I'm doing here today. That's a different conversation. And then at the bottom, it says cost versus benefit. So you need to see as you go to places like bls.gov whether it's worth it to spend all the money you're going to spend and the time you spend, whether there's a light at the end of the tunnel, something on the back end. Maxim number six. This goes without saying, and I presume that people who are on this call already there. But a lot of the students I work with, and I've worked with a lot of students who are marginalized, recently out of prison, homeless, in recovery. And some of them have been in prison so long, 20, 30 years, they've never seen a computer before, don't know how to open it. Um, so they have to understand this is a necessary skill. And you're always doing what's called upskilling. You're always increasing your knowledge level. You need to learn a new program, you learn a new program. You want to go work for your company in China, you learn Mandarin, whatever it takes. How people hire. People love this part. This is from Lawrence Kellner, who was the chairman and CEO of Continental. I don't know if he still is. My guess is he's not because people move around so much. Okay. This is how it works. This is how I work. And if you talk to pretty much anybody in the working world, I got my job because I knew somebody. Yeah. So your job is to know people. And that's why I have 36,000 followers on LinkedIn. The more people I know, the more possibilities exist for work, for either getting hired or referred for work. So um, when I hire people, this is how I do it. I don't post to Indeed.com. I do a job description and send it to trusted colleagues and say, who do you know? And you're going to do the same thing if you're not doing it already when you're running a company. I like the little kitty there pretending to be a dog. Okay. It's who fits on the team. So it's all about developing relationships with people. So they know you, trust you, like you, and they'll hire you and hire you and hire you. Um, so it's really, do you fit on the team? Are you someone they're comfortable with, that they can work with and communicate with? Okay. Last set of maxims. Yes, networking. Uh, network. They always say that, but unless you have something to say specific and you know who you're talking to, it's too broad networking. So uh, let's say you're my client, we've created your brand, we've created your soundbite. Yes, you know who you are, what you offer, how to say it to people. Now, who's your target audience? Who is going to pay for your skill set? So who do you hang with? Yes, what do they need and how do you find them? Um, so that's the key, and you never go wrong if you focus on the target audience. Who needs what you got? B is if you can't make a sale, make a friend. So take every interview you can, whether it's a right fit or not, whether going in there, you're knowing I'm not going to take this job or pick up this client, meet them anyway, because you never know who they might know. Um, In many cases, it's you have an interview, say it's a panel interview, and you didn't get the job, didn't really want it, but you impressed people and you stayed in touch with them. And one of the people in the panel was very impressed with you, and you saw them 6 months later, stayed in touch with them, and they've moved to another company, and you give them a call. How's it going? Let's have coffee. Oh, so glad you called. I just moved to another company. We're hiring, and I was very impressed with you. Wondered if you can come in tomorrow because we've got some jobs we think you'd be right for. Yes. Um, that's how that works. So you want to look at any interview as a opportunity to network because most of the jobs you're going to apply for, if you're looking for jobs, you ain't going to get. Yes. My example is a great hitter in baseball fails two-thirds of the time. So a 300 hitter fails two-thirds of the time. So you're going to strike out, but don't look at it as striking out. Look at it as a networking opportunity. I have 45 minutes, 30 minutes to impress people, and they might remember me. And then I might have jobs in the future. So it's not, don't think of it as a no, think of it as a not yet. Yes, and the C is always take the meeting. Never know what you're going to learn, who you're going to meet, who they might know, and so on. So this is a slight change from what we traditionally know. Usually it's not just what you know, it's who you know. It's not even who you know, it's how well you know each other and how often you appear on their radar. So one of the things I work with my clients is to develop what I call a portable electronic granular database. It's in the book. Yes. Um, you want to find a way to stay in touch with people. The people you've met at that interview. Yes, they gave you your card, stay in touch, and you stay in touch with them in a way that benefits them. Not just, hello, I'm still looking for work, but you found out something that they're interested in, and you ding them when there's, let's say, they're interested in games, and there's a game conference coming up, and you got a couple of tickets. So, oh, thank you for remembering that. That's great attention to detail. While I have you on the phone, we may have some work coming up. Could you come into the office and talk with us? Okay. All about relationships, always. And this is true. You think you have a wonderful resume. I'm sure you do. You've worked on it for months. Uh, and you nailed the interview. It was great. I'm still not going to hire you because I can't in 30 to 45 minutes make a decision whether you're the right person. It's too much of a risk. I will go with someone I've already worked with before. That's the side door that I talk about a lot in my work. The front door is filled with resumes. People ain't reading them. They're going to go to the people they already know. You want to be one of those people they already know. So that's the goal. Yes, I left that to the end. Surprise. So it's to have you develop a marketing sensibility so self-marketing becomes a habit. That's what we're up to. And that's the bottom line. The making money and on a whiteboard at school, when I teach this stuff, I put a big dollar sign on there. That gets people's attention. Um, but really what it's about ultimately is that you are contributing to the greater good. And I will read Muhammad Ali's quote, service to others is the rent you pay for your room here on earth. And it's true. So I wish for all of you the kind of career I have where you're making a profound difference in people's lives. I've seen this over and over again. You're making a lot of money. Yes. And you're enjoying what you do. So I wish that for all of you. And that's how you could follow me on LinkedIn.